6 Strategies that guarantees Trump's victory. Donald Trump's rise to political power has been one of the most controversial and impactful events in modern U.S. political history. His 2016 victory stunned political experts and traditional analysts, as he overcame long odds and defeated an established politician, Hillary Clinton. While many anticipated a more conventional path to the presidency, Trump's approach defied norms and expectations. His continued influence in politics today raises questions about the strategies that underpinned his success. As Trump eyes potential future campaigns, let's take a deeper look at the 6 core strategies that fueled his initial victory and may continue to define his political playbook. 1. Populist messaging, the voice of the forgotten. One of Trump's key strategies was his ability to connect with the forgotten American voters in rural and industrial areas who felt neglected by the political establishment. While his critics labeled his rhetoric divisive or simplistic, his supporters saw him as a champion of the working class, an advocate for those who felt left behind by the policies of both major political parties. Trump's slogans like "Make America Great Again" were simple but powerful, evoking nostalgia for a time when manufacturing, blue-collar jobs, and traditional American values were the backbone of the country. His message struck a chord with people who felt disenfranchised by globalization, automation, and a political class they believed no longer represented their interests. For these voters, Trump's critiques of trade deals like NAFTA and his promise to restore jobs were more than campaign promises, they were calls to action. His populist message wasn't just about policy, it was about cultural identity, pride in national sovereignty, and a rejection of the globalized elite who had dominated American politics for decades. 2. Mastery of media and social media, bypassing traditional channels. Donald Trump's use of social media, particularly Twitter, was revolutionary in its political impact. Rather than relying on traditional media channels or campaign speeches to communicate with the public, Trump took to social media to broadcast his unfiltered thoughts. This direct form of communication allowed him to bypass journalists and political pundits, ensuring that his message reached his followers without distortion. This strategy helped Trump control the news cycle, often using provocative statements to dominate headlines and set the agenda for the day. Whether it was a tweet about foreign policy, immigration, or a personal attack on political opponents, his tweets regularly drew national attention. His approach also highlighted the media's dependence on him, as many outlets found themselves reacting to his every statement, unable to ignore his presence. In a political landscape that increasingly values authenticity, Trump's brash, unscripted style resonated with voters who were tired of what they saw as carefully curated and focus-grouped political messaging from other candidates. His social media strategy was not just about communication, it was about creating an ongoing spectacle that kept him at the forefront of political conversation. 3. Anti-establishment appeal, the outsider's advantage. Though Trump was a billionaire real estate mogul, he successfully branded himself as an outsider to Washington's political elite. This was one of his most effective strategies, especially in a political climate where distrust of government and career politicians was at an all-time high. Many voters saw Trump as the antidote to the swamp of Washington, someone who could disrupt the political status quo and bring a businessman's approach to government. His lack of political experience, far from being a liability, was viewed by many as his greatest strength. He wasn't beholden to lobbyists or entrenched political interests, which made him an appealing candidate to those who wanted drastic change. By painting his opponents as part of a corrupt, self-serving establishment, Trump positioned himself as a political outsider ready to challenge the system. His direct language, often criticized for being inflammatory, resonated with people who were tired of political correctness and desired someone who tells it like it is. 4. Targeted focus on key swing states, the electoral map mastery. Trump's campaign team understood the importance of the Electoral College and executed a precise, data-driven strategy to win key swing states. Instead of focusing solely on traditional Republican strongholds or trying to win over the popular vote, Trump concentrated on areas that would give him the necessary electoral votes to secure the presidency. States like Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin, long seen as Democratic strongholds, were pivotal to his victory. In these states, Trump tailored his message around job creation, reviving the manufacturing sector, and renegotiating trade deals. His focus on these economic issues, coupled with frequent visits and rallies, helped him connect with voters in regions that had been hit hard by industrial decline. His success in these battleground states showed a deep understanding of the political map and the importance of targeted campaigning. By winning over working-class voters in the Midwest and Rust Belt, Trump was able to secure the necessary electoral votes, despite losing the popular vote to Hillary Clinton by nearly 3 million votes. 5. Harnessing nationalism and identity politics, rallying the base. Trump's political platform was built on a message of strong nationalism and identity politics, which energized his base. His "America First" slogan wasn't just about economic policy, it was about asserting national pride and reclaiming a sense of identity that many voters felt was under threat. From his calls to build a border wall to his crackdown on immigration, Trump's policies spoke directly to those concerned with national security, job protection, and the preservation of American values. His stance on immigration, particularly his promises to restrict illegal immigration and enforce stronger border controls, appealed to a segment of the population that felt threatened by changing demographics and globalization. This focus on nationalism allowed Trump to tap into cultural and identity-based fears, particularly among white, rural, and older voters who were worried about the future of their communities. His message of putting America first, coupled with his fiery rhetoric on trade and immigration, further solidified his connection with these voters. 6. Relentless campaigning and energy, a ground game like no other. Trump's energy and relentless campaigning were central to his success. His ability to hold multiple rallies in a single day, often in key swing states, set him apart from his opponents. Trump's rallies were not just political events, they were spectacles that drew thousands of supporters, creating an atmosphere of enthusiasm and momentum. Unlike his opponents, who often stuck to more traditional campaign schedules, Trump embraced a frenetic pace. His physical presence in battleground states, coupled with his massive rallies, helped to keep his base energized and focused on turning out to vote. His ability to command attention and maintain enthusiasm among his supporters was one of the defining features of his campaign. Additionally, his rallies served as platforms to reinforce his key messages, rally his base, and counter negative media coverage. They allowed Trump to bypass traditional campaign strategies and directly connect with voters, creating a sense of loyalty and excitement that translated into high voter turnout among his supporters. Lastly, Donald Trump's political success was far from accidental. His victory in 2016 was the result of a carefully crafted strategy that combined populist messaging, media mastery, and an outsider appeal. His focus on key swing states, his use of nationalism, and his relentless energy on the campaign trail further solidified his connection with voters who felt left behind by traditional politics. As Trump continues to exert influence in the political sphere, these strategies will likely remain central to his approach, guiding his future campaigns and shaping the course of American politics for years to come. If you agree, comment, "Make America Great Again," share, like and subscribe.